Is that what we should do? Or is this something that I should do by myself at another time? View, seamless mode. No. Okay. Well, I'm mostly writing, but that is rather frustrating that you can't. Have you never been able to see my cursor? I wonder. Okay. Well, we're working on the title, solo season. So I'll make this big. Oh, you know, the other thing I want to do right now too is I want to get rid of these black lines. And Siri wants to help me with that apparently. Paragraph. Yeah, no borders. Style. It's under style. That's where it is. Yeah, no border. There we go. So it looks a little bit more confusing, but it looks nicer. Save. Every time I glance up at the top of the screen and I see that little edited beside the file name, I save. That's what I do. So I've been going back and forth on is it called solo season or a solo season? You know, what's better? Um, Now I'm sitting here thinking this is what I always do when I make a zine. I used to always do kind of like a colophon at the back, like this zine was made in pages with this on this date. I might just add the date though. That's a lot of space between those lines though. 2024. Oh, let's go March 28. I definitely looked up at the calendar to figure out that date. Yeah, what's up with all that space between those lines? Let's turn that down. Where does that live? You would think it would be text. Tabs? No? No, no, no. Style. There it is. There it is. Oh yeah, it's 1.1.2. Why is it 1.2? That's point 0.2. So we had an entire line. Okay. No, put it down at the bottom. Although I don't want it that close to the bottom because that is definitely going to be cut off with the printing. Let me just pull that up a little bit. the So if you know Notion at all, you know that it uses emoji rather heavily. So every page has an emoji, so it's really easy to find. So one of the things I've been doing is, oops, that button doesn't work on this computer. I got a new MacBook Air and it has a button where you can switch the keyboard. So it has a button that you can press one button to bring up the emoji menu. And I just pressed that button on my regular keyboard, which of course doesn't work. So we're going to have to go find the emoji. Um, so for solo season, I have been using the headphone emoji as the symbol. And there we go. Copy. So that could be a cool cover. I think that looks really good. I don't know how well that's gonna print, but I do like it. And I do like this font. This is a really good title font. Not a good body font though, definitely. When we do this, we're gonna do body font for the rest of the pages. We are gonna look at some options. So let me show you a couple of my current favorite fonts that I've discovered on Google Fonts. Um, Josephine Sands is one of them. So this is what this font looks like. Give you some, bump up that size so you can see it. This kind of has like it reminds me of like a 1920s, 30s Art Deco. It has a little bit of that look to it. I also really like, for a body font, Montserrat, which is just a really classic, minimal sans serif, but without looking too monospaced. I don't like monospace fonts. Not for printing. No, I mean, I don't like them anyway, but I know a lot of people really love them for writing in. And then for something with a serif, this one is called Kiwi Maru. So it's kind of reminiscent of Courier, but just looks a lot more polished. And I kind of like this one matching with this title font. This title font is called Averia Libre because they both have a little bit of the, I was gonna say bubbly, but it's not bubbly, but it's just like a little smooth and rounded kind of look to it rather than really harsh lines. So let's go with this one for now, but we're not gonna go that big. I think we're gonna go 14 font, 14 point, I mean. You can see that the margins are already there, so it really is, you just have to fill it in. Save. Okay, so one of the things that I love about zines, and what I love specifically, excuse me, about printed zines is the limitations. You have to fit it in to these 7 pages. You only have so much space. I mean, granted, you could go to the last page and write, but you know, apart from the cover, you have you have 7 pages to fill, depending on what you do with the back cover. So you can't just keep writing. The printing of a zine is the thing that gives you that restraint, that tells you you only have so much space. This is an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, and you only have one side of it as well too. When you're making a digital zine, you can just keep going and going and going because there's no limit to a PDF. And in fact, did you folks read about that thing? How somebody calculated and found out that the maximum size of a PDF that you can make is like the size of Germany or something. It's like 2,000 kilometers squared or something ridiculous like that. It's a wild story. But this PDF, this zine, is only this big. So our words have to fit in here. And on top of the restraint of I have to fit it into this 8.5 by 11 piece of paper is that I'm doing this live. I can't sit here forever. You know, I can't write for 5 hours and be live streaming. So far, I've been rambling for 31 minutes, and this is how far we've got. How long is this going to be done in another 31 minutes, do you think? Can we do it? I mean, I say we, but it's just me working here. Unless you got some ideas. Unless you have some ideas. So, the idea of this book, of this zine that I'm making is, I mean, it started out with the title How to Be Alone, but to be frank, too many other people have written that book. There's too many books called How to Be Alone. One of them, by Jonathan Franzen, which is not really what that title is. It's just a collection of short stories. But I guess one of them is titled How to Be Alone. There's another book called How to Be Alone by Lane Moore, which is a collection of essays and much more on the topic, but it's not so much an instruction book, which is what I want to write. I want to write the actual, here are the things to do to be alone. Here are the ways to be alone. This is what you can do when you are alone. One of the big ideas in here is because anecdotally, I find a lot of people have trouble being alone in public. That a lot of people really struggle with that. I've heard from friends basically my whole life that like they don't want a restaurant alone. They don't want to go to a concert alone or go to a movie alone. When it's like that's one of my favorite things to do. I love going to a concert alone. Just like that freedom of I can go and I can leave when I want and do what I want and just being alone lets you make all the decisions rather than having to accommodate others. Same with like going to a restaurant, right? You get to decide where do you want to go? What do you want to eat? Going to a movie alone. The one about going to a movie alone, I think I understand the least why people struggle with it so much. Because I understand, especially like eating at a restaurant alone, I understand the anxiety of that. And a lot of times when I eat in a restaurant alone, I'll have a notebook or I'll be reading a book or, reading my phone, obviously. That's just what we do these days, is we read our phone in public when we're alone. But when you go to a movie alone, like nobody is paying attention to you. Nobody cares. We're all in a dark room. Nobody is looking at each other. You're all focused forward. So like why not go to a movie alone? If you really want to go see a movie and nobody else wants to, then go. Do it. But ooh, my screen just flashed. What happened there? Did something okay, no. We're still nothing went wrong. What was I gonna say? I was saying something and then my life flashed before my eyes. Okay. So probably gonna start with like this is gonna be some kind of intro essay. And then this page is going to be like say adventure number 1 that you can do alone. like maybe going to the movies alone. And then this will be adventure number 2, eating at a restaurant. Adventure number 3, let's say something outdoors, some kind of field trip. This is another one that I love to do alone because you get to make the decision when you're done. Like when I was a kid, we went hiking almost every Sunday when the weather was nice, obviously. Which is not a whole lot of Sundays when you live when you live in British Columbia. But we would try to get outdoors at least every Sunday and go hiking somewhere. And when you're with a group, it's like you have to get to the end of the trail, right? You have to do the thing that you set out to do from beginning to end. Whereas if you're alone, you get to a point in the trail and you're like, you know what? I'm not going to make it to the end of this trail, or I'm not going to make it back around to the end if you're doing like some kind of loop. You get to make the decision of like, I am going to stop here. I'm going to conserve this energy to get me back to where I started, to get me back to a place that's going to get me home. And that's okay. It's okay that you didn't finish the trail for whatever kind of value of finish it is. I'm thinking about especially something like for here in the Lower Mainland, we have the seawall, and it's this trail that goes all the way around Stanley Park. And it's called the seawall, obviously, because it's right next to the water. And it's a great trail because it's completely paved. It's set up to be a place where people do this big loop. It goes all the way around Stanley Park, but it takes you, if you're walking, a lot of people do it on their bikes or other wheeled transportation. But if you're walking, it can take you at least 2 hours, sometimes longer, to get from one side to the other. Again, for values of one side to the other, because it does stretch. But if you're by yourself, you can decide, I'm done. I'm going to cut through the park and get back either to a bus stop or to my car, however you started. So, doing things alone, it can be really good for your energy as well too. That's now out of line. Okay. So then we have, I'm saying adventure. These are more like outings. We should also talk about other stuff that you could do. We could talk about um, pastimes, maybe. Pastime number 1, hobbies and games. And pastime. No, that's 1S, 2 T's. Is it not 2 T's? What does the dictionary say? Oh, it's only one. 1 T. Um, yeah, maybe let's talk about like solo games that you can play. If you've been around, you remember when I got super into solitaire and I wrote a zine where I invented a whole bunch of types of solitaire. Um, I have so many windows. I just get lost. Let me show you. Here's my here's my itch page again. Uh, oh, there we go. Solitaire. So this is, here we go, 1 November for NaNoWriMo. Instead of doing NaNoWriMo, I did 30 games of solitaire. So I invented 30 different ways to play solitaire. You can see one day while eating a sandwich, I designed a game to be played one-handed. Yeah, I just got super into cards and I was just playing all different types of cards. You know, one of my favorite ways to play solitaire is what they call Klondike, or what I call Klondike. Klondike is the one where you make a big triangle and you have to pick two cards that add up to what, 13, I think is the number, right? Because, or is it 10, 11, 12, 13? Yeah, because the king is 13. Yes. So, like, for the king, you can just take the king. You don't have to take two cards. You just take one because the king equals 13. So you have to take two cards that equal 13, but you can only take them if they're open. Like if there's a card that's on top of, then you can't take the one that's below. So it's very much based on the deal that you get at the top. But as much as I love playing that game, it's so much to set up and like you need a huge table to do it and yeah. So I just invented a whole bunch of other ones that were little, tiny, can be played. Like I say, most of them were designed to be played with limited table space or no table at all. So yeah, you can buy that. You can buy that zine. That's one that I actually put some money on, huh? I decided because I have so much stuff on my itch page. I decided a while ago to just put a couple of them randomly behind a paywall, just to see if that would change people's ideas. Like, you know how some people are like, oh, but if it's free, it's not worth anything. So yeah, there's a couple of them that have a paywall on them. Congenial Telegram, you know, that one is how many of those did I make? I think I made 8 of them. Yeah, like no, that's oh no, that's print and digital. Okay. So yeah, you're getting both. You're getting the digital versions that you can read or you're getting the printed versions. So look at that. Look how many files you're getting. And you're getting this one at the very bottom, digital complete. That's the entire, it's like an anthology. That's all of them in one PDF that you can read. So, you know, $2. Anyway, I got there's a ton of good stuff on here. Lots of stuff that I made right here on this stream. Like this one. This is the last one that I made. When did I make that? I made that 2022, August 21st. That was the last zine that I made. It's a long time ago, folks. All right, let's get back to it. Let's do this. So, we're talking about solo games and then I think like solo hobbies, solo crafts, like things that you can do by yourself. And then I think here I might do one more. I'm thinking like um and this is good because then it's now we've got it balanced, right? We've got 3 adventures and 3 pastimes. There we go. It's always nice when it's balanced, when it's what's the word I'm thinking about? What's the word I'm thinking about? That means like balance. Oh my gosh. I cannot think. This is the brain fog, folks. Sometimes and like this happened to me before COVID, so like I honestly don't know. I don't know if I have some flavor of long COVID or not, or if it's just like my regular depression, fatigue, and brain fog. God knows, but I'm trying. Um, so pastime number 3 was going to be make a zine because it's fun to make zines together, but sometimes you have to do it by yourself because it'll never happen if you don't make it by yourself. And on that topic, let me tell you about a zine that I'm making on the internet. We're gonna so this is a zine that I'm making. It is to celebrate the 30th anniversary of the movie Speed. So if you have an idea, let me know. This is just my website, so you can see the URL here, jessdriscoll.com/speed. Can you see that? Yes, you can see that. So if you've got an idea, if you loved this movie the way that I loved this movie, I was 12 when it came out, so like I was pretty primed to love this movie. I have seen it so many times. I have watched it so many times. So let me know. Let me know if you have an idea that you want to submit to this zine. You can get in touch with me here. You can see the email is hey at my domain name, so that's jessdriscoll.com. You can get in touch with me if you follow me on Instagram. But we're celebrating speed. First, we're gonna write this scene though. So let's talk about the restaurant because you know what, the restaurant is easy because oh, by the way, let's save. My eye just caught that grayed out edited. The restaurant is easy because we can talk about I understand. I understand better than no. Mhm. Um, it's is it the most? Do I want to say it's the most? Not only do we feel like we're on display, but we're also making weird noises and face and weird noises and faces. Maybe that. Maybe I'll indent. Um, I mean, eating alone is great because you can look at your phone without recrimination. Like nobody's gonna shame you for looking at your phone while you're alone. Whereas, like, a lot of times you'll go, to dinner with your parents and they're like, "Put your phone away." I mean, not my parents. My parents look at their phones as much as I do, so. I mean, recrimination, maybe it's not the right word without shame. And I mean, if you're getting shamed by your friends for looking at your phone while you're with them, I don't know, maybe they're not good friends. Or maybe, I mean, is that just like a neurodivergent thing? Because like one of my favorite things to do with my friends is to like sit in a quiet room together while we're doing something separate. Like my friend Megan, she loves to play video games on her laptop while we're watching TV. She's got the ADHD brain, has got to be doing a couple different things at once, and that's cool. You do you. I have kids in my class that, they have fidget toys. Not as much as they used to. It was really interesting because, man, those fidget spinners used to be so popular and then they just disappeared. I still have kids that are a little bit fidgety that like to have something. Um, but I mean, look at your phone without shame from society. But I don't think that's true. I think that for a lot of people, when you're looking at your phone, and then again, maybe this is just me. Um, Tell me if I'm wrong, but I think that even when you're in public by yourself, you still kind of think that people are judging you for looking at your phone. You make this a little bit bigger. What does 100% look like? Okay, that looks not bad. Okay. I just feel like that was not taking up enough of the screen for you. Um, so you can look at your phone, you can read a book, you can write in your journal, and that's what people expect to see, I think. I don't know. Man, I am like really second guessing myself today. Now I'm wondering if is that just me? Is that just Oh, you can't see the bottom of that. Oh yeah, interesting. Okay, you can't see the bottom of that pages screen. Let me fix this for you. Let's make this smaller. Let's fit this in a little bit better. Yeah, you don't need to see that, but you can see that. Okay. Better to see the bottom of the screen. Maybe like that. You like that? You don't need to see the top menu bar, right? So In my mind, I'm thinking when when other people see a single person eating by themselves, what are they thinking? Because I think that's what we are thinking as the single person sitting there. We're thinking, oh, they're judging me for being by myself. They think that I am sad and pathetic because I'm by myself. But if they see you doing something like looking at your phone, reading a book, are they thinking the same thing? Because that's what I think is that when you're by yourself, people expect to see you reading something. I think that's normal. God, I hope that's normal. But then again, I personally I don't care. I now I'm like questioning, can I write this book? Do I have the expertise to write this book? Because I just don't care what other people think. Let's write about the movies. A lot of times when I write these zines, especially this format, I wonder if it's too many words and I should make some space for some pictures. Okay. Sitting in a dark theater, watching a movie. We're all alone. We are all in our own worlds. And this is not going to be the next sentence, but I'm also thinking that when you go to movies alone, you get to eat all the popcorn. You get the snacks all to yourself. So I went to a movie in February for definitely the first time since before the pandemic, and perhaps for the first time in like 6 years. Because I genuinely can't remember the last time I went to a theater to see a movie. I just don't do it that often. Um, I'm actually a really weird person in that I enjoy watching movies on my phone. I like watching TV on my phone, like that tiny little iPhone 13 screen. I don't care how big the screen is. I like the intimacy of watching it on your phone. Curled up in bed under the covers and watching something. I enjoy that. I know lots and lots of people do not. So I don't really care about like, oh, you have to see it in the theater. Um, but I went to go see Andrew Scott doing Vanya, which was a one-man adaptation of Uncle Vanya by Chekhov. That was National Theater Live, so it's like you kind of only can see it in the theater these days. And I had like forgotten that feeling of being in the dark room and watching something like that. And I was like, oh, this actually is an experience. This actually is an enjoyable experience. As much as I do love watching things on my phone, there is something to be said for watching it on a giant screen like that. Especially like that one man show kind of experience of like this is only for me. This performance is for me. It felt very cool. And I had forgotten what that feeling felt like. So I don't need to do it every week, but I should probably try and do it more than once a decade. But because it had been so long, because it had been so long since I'd been to the movies, I got popcorn, which I never get. I almost never get popcorn at the movies. Usually because for me going to a movie is like a day trip, especially this one. This movie only happens in certain theaters. It's not in every theater. So I did have to go downtown Vancouver for it. And so I'll usually like do lunch or dinner. But this time I got popcorn and I ordered the large and it was so big. It was giant. And I ate like 1/8 of it. It was ridiculous how much popcorn they give you for like $9. Jesus. All right, we're all alone. We're all in our own worlds. Um, like that's okay. It's okay to go to a movie alone because if you're talking, then you're being really rude to other people. But then it's the experience of it, right? It's the experience of talking about it afterwards that people really enjoy. Um, See, this is what I'm talking about. I have been really struggling with paragraphs lately. It's why I'm trying to blog more. Oh, save. Get myself back into that habit of writing paragraphs rather than writing sentences. So much of the 2010s was, for me, writing sentences rather than writing paragraphs. I put so much energy into Twitter that like, if I think about how many words I wrote on Twitter, it's depressing. I want to talk about why did I want to write this? Why do I want this as a topic? Um, I love I love trying to fit your words into these text fields. Again, look, I just told you that I put so much energy into Twitter writing sentences, and now I'm sitting here like loving the constraint of this tiny text box. I don't know, there's something about that structure. There's something about structure that my brain loves in so many ways. You know, I'm constantly like making lists and schedules and planning and trying to fit my brain into some kind of box. Because if I don't, it's just going to fly away. So I have to give it some structure. And one of those structures that I give it is this mini zine. Trying to get your ideas into these 8 pages. I don't want to start with me. This is the thing. I'm sitting here thinking, as somebody who has been single for blah blah blah, I don't want to start with me. I want to start with the idea. I want to Oh, I just popped over to OBS. We are now more than an hour and not even halfway done. I am definitely out of practice, aren't I? But this is the point. This is the purpose of this exercise. is that I haven't been exercising. I haven't been exercising my zine making muscle, my writing muscle enough. All right, I'm just gonna write it. This is the way that it works best for me. I'm just gonna write because you got to get the ideas down before you can fix the ideas. You can't fix things that are stuck in your head. So, um, oh my God. This is, no. See, this is the intro. The intro should be the last thing that I write. I gotta write the rest of it, I think. Let's write about making a zine because that is what we're doing right now. Um, give yourself a project and make a zine. We gotta fix this. We want it to be, yeah. We want this to be at the bottom. Oh, there we go. Give yourself a project and make a zine. Doesn't have to be oh, all of those. This is the problem with writing upside down. I keep pressing the wrong arrow key. Doesn't have to be a long one, but challenge yourself to make something from beginning to end all by yourself. Um, Making a solo zine can be easy because you don't have to rely on or wait on submissions. Now this is too, now I don't have enough space. Because now I want to write something about, I want to write something about the challenge of making it by yourself. Like I'm sitting here right now thinking, how am I going to fill all these pages? Maybe we take out this sentence. Challenge yourself to make something from beginning to end all by yourself. We could just start with make a zine. A solo zine can be easy because you don't have to rely or wait on submissions, but you have to trust yourself You have to trust yourself enough to, hmm, it's not about trusting that you can fill the pages. I mean, I know that I can fill these pages. I know that I can write this book that I've been promising to write even just a proposal for months, and I just haven't been able to make myself do it. And partly that is because I don't have to, in the sense that if I don't, then I don't make the book, but it's not like I'll be punished if it's not that kind of deadline. And if I don't have that kind of deadline, then I just never will because I am, at the heart of it, a perfectionist procrastinator. I will procrastinate until the end of time, which is why I love streaming. I've written about this before. Um, Being here and being live, it forces me to keep going, you know? I can't look at my phone, right? I put it on do not disturb so I wouldn't even get any notifications right now. Um, I can't get up and go back to bed like I do a lot of the times when I have my mornings off. I'll just go back to sleep. Not necessarily to sleep. I'll just go back to bed and look at my phone. I can't go watch something, watch TV, watch a movie. I need to sit here with my butt in my seat and just do this thing because I said I would do it. And there's not a ton of people watching, but there's a couple. And this is going to live on my YouTube channel. So it is happening. And I have to keep it happening until I'm done. So you have to trust yourself enough to finish, trust yourself enough to complete a project, and trust yourself enough to complete the project alone. Let's go back up here. So we make a zine rather than saying something. To make a zine from beginning to end all by yourself. Thinking about sentences, thinking about how I wrote sentences for Twitter and other platforms online, is that you have to work within those constraints. And I rather enjoy that. As you can see, you put the text into the text field and then you have to make it fit. But at the same time, you also have to make it good. I think I would have been really good at journalism in that sense of like, you only get this many column inches. I could have done that. That would have been a really good restraint for me. All right, challenge yourself to make a zine from beginning to end all by yourself. A solo zine can be easy because you don't have to rely or wait submissions, but you have to trust yourself enough to complete the project alone. I don't know that complete is the right word here. It's not about like the physical completion. It's about, for me, when you're making something by yourself, you have to not even just trust it, you have to believe in yourself that it's worth finishing, right? Like, nobody else needed to know about this zine. I did not need to do this live. I could have just thought about this zine forever, started making it, left it alone for months, come back to it. But for me, I've been blogging since 2001. And part of the reason that I started blogging is because I was already writing. I've been writing since I was 3. I needed to do it in public so that I would do it. It's like accountability. That is what live streaming really is for me, is the accountability of doing it, of finishing it. Starting is easy. Starting is great. I wholeheartedly endorse starting dozens of projects. Because if you don't start, now we're on like a totally different topic here, people. Wow, okay. But if you never start a project, then you don't know if you want to do it. That's one of the most important things, is you have to do the thing before you know that you don't want to do the thing, which is part of the reason why I did so many different things in college. I studied so many different things because I wanted to try them, and some of them I did not like, so I didn't continue. I always thought I wanted to do linguistics. Then I took a linguistics class, and I was like, oh, that's not actually what I want to do. Um, so yeah, you have to make the thing. You have to start making the thing to decide if you want to finish making the thing. There we go. There's your sentence. There's your tweet. Um, so we're gonna go outdoors. Taking a field trip by yourself. Again, I don't want to say it's easy. I think I've already used that word, right? Maybe verb. Take a trip. Take a field trip by yourself. Go to that place where you've never been. See that thing that you've never seen. I might delete this. Don't you know that I love my repetition, but I might not have the space for this. Alone, you it's kind of the same idea as a lot. Doing things alone, you get to make the decisions. You don't have to accommodate others. And when I say that, that sounds terrible, right? That sounds selfish. Because learning how to accommodate others is also a really important skill. But doing things alone is an indulgence that I don't think enough people give themselves. So if and I think I kind of come at that I think I'm kind of coming at this idea from a different place than what the reader. Oh, I just had like a little epiphany right there. Maybe that's why I've been struggling with this idea so much, is that I need to be writing it for a different kind of person. I'm not writing this for a person like me. I'm writing this for a person who struggles with this. And they need that indulgence because they don't give themselves that indulgence. I've been indulging myself my entire life. I do the things that I want to do and I don't do the things that I don't want to do. That's that's what we call in yoga, that's the beginner's mind. That beginner's mind. And think, who is the audience for this zine? Alone. Hmm. Alone, you are your own person. You don't need to accommodate. Accommodate. No, that's not right. Two M's? Yeah, two M's. Accommodate anyone else is. Oh, maybe just anyone else. Even if even if it's only uh let's let's take the word trip and let's say field trip for here. Talking about like a field trip from it's a field trip from the rest of your life. You deserve it. You know, even if this moment is just a moment and you're going to go back to a lot of other people in your life. Make all your own decisions. That's a really big part of this is and that's kind of what I was trying to get at with this with the movie page as well too, right? Going to a movie alone is great because you don't have to see a movie that you don't want to see. You know, it's great to expand our world. It's great to accommodate others. It's great to help other people and be with other people. But sometimes we just want to be selfish. And I say that in the best way, you know, do our own thing and not think about others and just make a choice. Hmm. We're all in our own little worlds, and the show is just for us. A movie is, I want to say something like a movie is such a popular date. Like, so many people think about going to the movies as going on a date that I think going to the movies by yourself is a little bit hmm, just when I'm thinking, I'm just moving margins around. I think I'm gonna put it to the top. Save. A movie. A movie is not only a date, an outing, also like it's also a journey, right? It's a oh, that's maybe a little too philosophical for me. I don't know. I'm trying to think of the idea, the Julia Cameron idea of the artist date. When you're an artist, it's not just about making all the time. You also have to take in. And that's what the artist date is about. It's about going out and experiencing art so that you can go home and make more art. And I think a lot of times we forget movies are part of that because it's such a movie is such a common cliche thing that we do for fun rather than a thing to fill our creative cup. A movie might be okay. A movie might be the most popular date spot. Activity, maybe. But a movie is also art, and we need art to refill our creative well. And then I think besides, you get all the snacks to yourself. All right, now we're like halfway done, right? That's what people expect to see because that's what they would do. Because that's what we all do. Like, you can look at your phone, you can read a book, you can write in your journal, and that's what people expect to see. That's what we all do. But is that true? That's what we all do when we're alone? Solo game. All right. Board games. Card games. Hmm. And solo hobbies. I'm thinking about, what are the things that we do pastime, pass the time. I think for a lot of us, most of our hobbies are solo hobbies. There's ways to include other people in it, but I mean, think about book clubs. Reading is like the epitome of the solo hobby, and yet we have still found a way to do it with other people. 3 pages. We can't. I am thinking I might combine these 2 pages, the hobbies and games. Ooh, sorry, just got a little chill there. It is definitely cold outside. It looks cold out there. Might combine these two and see if maybe we can fit a picture in here. Break up some of this text. Let be a nice break. It'll be a nice break to look at some pictures. So if I open that, can you see that? You can't see that. That's so frustrating. I can't believe that you can't see that. Um, what is a good solo symbol. We already got the headphones. Maybe like a tree or a mountain. Maybe this river. That could be an interesting one. Um, yeah, this piece of pie is really interesting, actually. I kind of like that as an idea because it's the pie but separate. What do you think of that? Is that weird? I mean, it's weird, but I kind of like that metaphor. Okay, two more pages. Let's do this. Let's do this. Um, maybe being alone. Being alone is being alone is not for everybody. As humans, we spend our lives searching for companionship, or maybe let's do that a little less academic-y and say searching for friends and family, for a place where we belong. But we can make that place for ourselves. We we need each other. We want each other, but we don't need each other. We I don't want to say we need, right? You don't need. I don't know that I want to say we need to learn how to be alone. I don't know if I want to say that. I don't know if that's true. Because I think it really is a situational thing. I think people, I don't think you need to be alone. I think it's important to learn how to be alone. But again, that's coming from my brain. I don't know. We don't want every person to be the same. We don't need every person to be the same. That's the whole point. It's the whole point of having 8 billion people. We're all different. And maybe here's where I say something like, as who, somebody who has been single her entire adult life, here are some tips. Here are some tips from me, a single person who loves to, who has learned to navigate this world alone. That's not bad. I'd like, yeah, maybe like one more sentence right at the bottom, just that balance. I like that visual balance of the sentences lining up. But we can make that place for ourselves. Um, we may not be alone forever, but hmm, maybe we do it like that. We can make that place for ourselves. We, something about how we never know when we'll be alone, how long we'll be alone. I mean, think about 2020. Think about how much people struggled during that. Because they hadn't been alone like that before. And I mean, I struggled to be sure. I struggled a lot doing that pandemic alone. But I think I was better prepared than some. We can make that place for ourselves. We can we can enjoy, we can, I don't want to say learn again. I don't think that's it. We can love our own company. um we can love ourselves. I need a sentence, but I need that sentence to be short or else it's not gonna fit. Man, it's getting cold in here. I have my shutters open for the natural light, but wow, it is making it cold. I did not expect that. It's just like spurring me on to finish this zine a little bit faster because my fingers are getting cold. Maybe here's some tips from me, a single person who's learned to navigate this world alone and you to wants you to love, maybe love the quiet. Is that is that maybe a little bit? too specific of like just because you like to be alone doesn't mean you necessarily love the quiet. You know, some people, I mean, I play music a lot too as well too. So I don't know, maybe and like freedom, is that the right word? Um, wants to give you that freedom too. Maybe, maybe that's what it is. All right, so we're talking about hobbies. I think that this is where people actually have the most success. I think that our hobbies are probably the place. If there's any part of your life where you succeed, no, succeed in being alone, it's probably when you are doing your hobbies. That sounds weird to me, doing your hobbies. Maybe it's probably your hobbies. We know instinctively how to read alone, watch TV alone, right? Do puzzles, play solitaire. Oh, let's say play video games. Let's be a little bit more broad there. Play video games alone. If there's any part of your life where you succeed in being alone, it's probably your hobbies. We know instinctively how to read alone, watch TV alone, write, do puzzles, play video games alone. Is that true? Do you think that that's true? I mean, of course, we also do these things with others because that's just what humans are like. Like I said, humans are always searching for their group, searching for where they belong. But of course, there's nothing wrong with with joining a group, joining a club, creating a team. Why do I keep I mean, I know why I keep misspelling things. It's because I'm reading it upside down, but it's really funny. Let's go. You'll notice I tend to try to do groups of three just because I think that sounds really good, but I think we're running out of space here. So we've really only got, that line and a half to fill now. There's nothing wrong with joining a club or creating a team, but but something about keep your keep keep your hobbies to your not keep your hobbies to yourself. That's not what I want to say. Keep your hobbies close. Um, but your hobbies will always be there for you. And that's too much. I need to delete some stuff. All right, let's delete this. Uh, maybe delete that one. All right, we need a little bit more. If there's any part of your life where you succeed in being alone, or maybe where you love to be alone, there's any part of your life you love to do alone, it's probably your hobbies. We know instinctively how to read alone, watch TV, do puzzles, play video games alone. Of course, there's nothing wrong with joining a club or creating a team, but your hobbies will always be there for you. That's it, folks. I think that's it. And I am really cold, and this chair is starting to bother me a little bit, so I want to stand up. You might have noticed I've started getting a little fidgety. That's 1 hour 48 minutes it took us to make this zine. That was a. I'm really pleased with that. I am really pleased with how much I wrote, how much I got down, and I feel like that's a really good start. So thank you. Thank you for sticking with me for this stream, and I hope that I will have news about this as a book to share with you very soon. So I will say goodbye, and I will see you next Thursday morning. I'm going to do this again. We're gonna we're gonna try to make this a regular thing again. So thank you for struggling with me for my first zine stream back. The first zine of 2024 was pretty good.